another Generation 2 Plasticon review! Woohoo! As you can see, Generation 2 Motormaster looks completely awesome. The only thing I can possibly see that they missed out on was adding a little bit more of the sea green, although they did put it into the windows on him. The deco is really pretty. I do like this, and it's probably not coming off very well, but this is a very sparkly type of blue plastic, along with the sparkly just blue tamples here and there all the way throughout it. The purple has a bit of a swirl inside of it as well, and it just looks completely awesome. I don't actually mind the idea that they did not paint the rims. That's fine, because I mean, it really just looks good in these colors. So let's get on to robot mode. Motormaster, after you put him in his robot mode, just looks completely awesome. I really do like all the colors going on here. The blue that is really sparkly is really brought out in the robot mode. It really pops throughout it, the entire thing, along with this nice swirly purple. It looks really nice. I even like the way they did the chest portion here, and I love how they did the G2 logo. That just looks really nice. The head sculpt looks really good in these colors. I do like this head sculpt. There's a lot of people out there that really have been knocking on the Generation 2 stuff, but I dig it. There's also this sword here that obviously combines, and you know what that's for. But here's a missed opportunity. I kind of wish they would have done this thing in the sea green. It would have really kind of just added to this bot mode, because there's really barely any silver throughout the entire set, but I can look past that. Dragstrip's alt mode looks really good in these colors. I do love the idea that they really did try to grasp all the G2 craziness dealing with Dragstrip, but there is one missed opportunity. They could have added a little bit of gold, because the original would have had gold plastic where the engine bay used to flip forward. They could have painted this maybe gold to kind of hark to that, but I understand why they just went with the yellow, because it's just easier to just throw primary colors together than to go on and throw a little bit of gold in here. But I do love this. This is very nice, and it's just, I love this mold. This mold is great. Not to mention that they did do the checkering here on the tail. I really do like that. I do like the idea that they picked all this out. And just this color, the color just screams awesome. This blue is the same color that comes off of Motormaster, and it just looks nice. I mean, for a black version of this mold, I do like this a lot. But let's go on this robot. Taking a closer look at Dragstrip's robot mode, he looks really nice. I do like the aesthetic here they're going for. He's obviously got his sword pistol along with the hand foot gun piece, but him himself looks really nice. I do like the head sculpt. The head sculpt's very, very nice. I like the idea that they really picked it out, and it just looks cleaner to me than the retails did. I do like the idea that they did bring the yellow from the seat to the front here and just gave him that as a chest piece. And just the blue striping and everything. This looks really, really nice, and I do like the idea that, according to the prototype, this is pretty close to what it was going to be like, except for this right here would have been all blue to the middle. It wouldn't have had any of the yellow. Taking a closer look at Dead End. Dead End's mold is just completely awesome. I love the mold itself, but this thing just looks sick in these colors. This red is very sparkly and very swirly and just screams Generation 2. Not to mention, I love this radiant blue. This blue is just really nice. It pops throughout the entire set. It's just beyond awesome. I do love it. I love the gigantic G2 logo just slapped on the hood, along with teeny weeny little bitty ones right there, like right there on the side, along with this crazy striping here, because this striping really does hark to what the actual Generation 2s were going to have. I do love this thing. This thing is just sick. It's probably one of my favorite out of the entire group just because of the paint deco itself. But let's get on to its robot mode. After you get Dead End in his robot mode, he is really cool. I do like this deco. This deco is really nice. It does come with the hand-foot gun as well as his tailpipe sword slash, I don't really know what you want to call it. Just a cool add-on. I do like the paint on it. The paint's really nice. It's very, very swirly, just like the rest of it. But I just love this thing. This thing just looks sick in these colors. I like the idea that they actually changed the color of the G2 logo, just painted it red here on his chest, which is kind of nice, because it kind of just fits the motif. Would have been cool to see a little bit of purple there, but I do like the color splash that they used here. They really did do a good job of throwing the right colors on him to make him look like Dead End, and this red is just awesome. I'm sorry, the red's awesome. It's hard to see on here, but in person, oh my god, this thing's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Moving on. Taking a look at Breakdown. Breakdown is really cool. Now, this is the missed opportunity I was talking about. They used gold on his windows. They could have done that with good old Dragstrip as well on his seats. But I do like the idea they did hark to 94 racing, because in 1994 this thing was in prototype stage to actually come out as a combiner, which we never got, but I have done a retro review of it. Go back and check that one out. Anyhow, it's got a really nice tampled logo here on this, and it looks like this isn't like they just painted this. They literally tampled that over the black. Now this black has a nice little sparkly kind to it. Really nice. I do like the outline. They gave this thing like an eyeliner around all the windows, and that's something that they didn't necessarily have to do, but they did, and it just really makes this thing pop. I do love this shiny purple they got going on here, which really, really, really ties it together with Motormaster, and it just looks good. The only thing I can really say that they missed out on is the crazy little splash sticker here that they could have put on there, which had like the, I don't know, it was like a really weird paint thing going on. But, you know, I'll get onto that later on with a different review. Anyhow, he is really cool. I do like him. Let's get him into robot mode. taking a closer look at Breakdown, he looks really, really nice. It's really odd that they actually picked a complete different color that I don't see anywhere in this set. This really weird kind of maroonish color. But it's very, very difficult to tell on camera, but this thing really has an odd, cool G2 vibe to it. Along with the hand-foot gun that pegs on the back, much like your Sunstreaker or the other Breakdown. I do like the idea that they picked out the G2 logo right here on the chest with the same color as the rest of the robot. And just nice silver thrown throughout the entire thing to really kind of tie them all back together. Is obviously, you know, the G2 or the G1-ish mold we got, but he looks really nice. I do really dig him. Moving on to Wild Rider. Wild Rider's got a really, really awesome deco going on here. It's really interesting how they picked out that crazy, I don't know, it's almost like a digitized type of thing going on here on his hood, along with just a little bit here. Now, it would have been nice if they would have carried it over to this, but they probably didn't do that on account of tooling and however the things are actually molded in the factory. But it's really nice that they actually did do this kind of striping here on this back, or here on the sides. I do love the idea that they have the gigantic G2 logo here on there, and the yellow. This yellow is sparkly and swirly and looks awesome, and it's G2, and let's move on to his robot mode. Taking a closer look at Wild Rider, Wild Rider looks really good. I do like the idea that the G2 logo was picked out here in yellow to kind of match the rest of them. And this purple is just awesome on this head sculpt. Oh God, that just looks cool. I love it. And he does have red eyes picked out there. It's very difficult to see, but they're there. I do like the idea that he still comes with the same weaponry as good old Breakdown. And this blue swirly stuff looks great on him. It's so cool that so much blue just gets revealed when you put him into his robot mode versus his car mode. I love the idea of hidden colors on a robot when you unfurl them. Hold on. Taking a look at Blackjack. Blackjack is very surprising how awesome this purple is. This purple is swirly and it looks good and it matches everything else and it just looks sick. I do like the idea they did a G2 tampled kind of the bluish tealish color we had going on throughout the entire thing. It's almost like sea green. I do like it. He does come with his little crazy gun thing in here that you can put on his back, which I don't preferably like, but you know, kind of cool. It is kind of neat that it does that. But I do like him a lot. He is really neat. He's very surprising. He rolls. Hey guys, he rolls! Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than he's awesome! Robot mode! Taking a closer look at Blackjack. Blackjack's really cool. I do like his deco. His deco looks really nice. Really cool to see a lot of this awesome... This blue is almost like a turquoise, guys. It's very difficult for you guys to tell on camera, but the blue on this entire set is very turquoisey and very cool, and I love every bit of it. I do like the idea they did tampo the G2 logo right there on his shoulder. It's so teeny tiny, it's right there. And look at that head sculpt. Oh, it's so cool. It's awesome. But guess what? This isn't all this set does. after getting Menasor completely together, he just looks completely awesome. This is what Generation 2 is all about. I love how this thing looks. This thing just looks ridiculous, and that's the whole point. There's not much I really have to complain about when it comes to Menasor, considering there's a lot of fixes out there and third parties are already working on the hand-foot gimmick, and there are ways to be able to fix it so that way Blackjack fits better in his chest. But being a Generation 2 collector, you're going to want this guy. This guy is one of the ones that if you are into Decepticons, why don't you have it? Seriously. The only thing that's really missing to me is a Generation 2 logo somewhere on the bigger mode. Although this is supposed to count right here, this little sideways one here off of Blackjack for his chest. But it would have been kind of cool to see the cab squished together and a big G2 logo be slapped right smack dab in the middle. These colors are very cohesive. It works. It's cool. We finally have an official Generation 2 Menasor. Although we were skipped out way back in the day on one. This thing is sick. And if you guys noticed, I did take the two tailpipes and plug them in here, so that way it gives Menasor a little bit of height, which is perfect for what that is actually designed for. I think that's a design heart that most people probably didn't even think about. And there are ways to fudge it so that way you can get more articulation out of the arms when you actually have them where they look like real cars. But this is exactly what it should look like. I love how this thing looks. I don't mind the idea that the hips may be a little bit of wonky and he might be a little difficult to stand, but it's the fact that we actually have a Generation 2 Menasor in our hands now. This is unbelievable. It is sick. Go out and buy it if you're a G2 fan. But we can't forget, he does come with a Generation 2 card. It actually has G2 artwork on it, which is nice. But the whole no tech specs. Now I know they're doing tech specs here in the future. I know this. Somebody out there, make us some tech specs for these G2 figures. As for the instructions do have G2 logos on it. On the actual vehicles themselves, as you're doing the transformations. But still, missing out on the Generation 2 stuff that I talked about before with Superion. It's a really, really nice robot. It's a very cool robot. It is worth the money. Obviously the poster art, but the poster art is G1, not the Generation 2. That is a missed out opportunity. It is really cool though. And it all comes in this nice big envelope. But as for the box art is amazing, but still missing G2 logos. I do like the idea they did do the product samples right here, and the same thing on the top with all these. It's really nice, but still no G2 logo. And this shot is just amazing on the back. I do like this shot. Although some people are like, oh, it's all mistransformed or whatever. Some people out there don't like the idea that they widen the hips, but I mean, for whatever he's doing here, Menasor's always struck me as the samurai type. It makes sense that he would have this kind of a pose. He never really struck me as the gun-wielding type other than the little guns here on his knuckles, which are kind of cool. I like gun knuckles. Gun knuckles is a very, very, very super robotic kind of thing that they came out with in Transformers Zone and the Victory series. Anyhow, all I have to say is, you G2 fans, get your butts out there and get this guy! This was brought to me by Dorkside Toys. Dorkside Toys is carrying these. Get one if you're a G2 fan. Why don't you have one now? I don't know. Get one. They are awesome. They are cool. Go out and buy one. Get one. Get one now in your hands. Anyhow, this is Plasticon. And this is me signing off. Peace out, you guys. Sorry if this felt a little rushed, but hey, I had to get it out there. See ya!